You see, parasite science, even children can understand that. It just was never taught. So I'm going to do that today. It's the spider ate the fly mentality. Okay? So flies have parasites. Spiders have parasites. The cat ate the spider. The cat has parasites, or the mouse ate the spider. So if you see spiders, if you see a lot of spiders, you're going to get mice. Grandmothers were supposed to be breaking these things down for children. But at some point in time, children lost connection with their grandmothers. Several different points in time in history. And so what people need to realize is that right now, all things have parasites in it. Assume that's so. I had to write this down, otherwise I might not say it right. So, viruses and diseases are carried by parasites, which carried like the parasites were carried by wherever you caught that from. Public toilet, restaurant food, food from the grocery store, because there wasn't enough science on parasites, your grandmother would, all the way up in generations, would have had these, and they stack up, stack up, stack up, stack up. And how fast they stack up is according to the lifestyle that you live. And so if you there's mental, emotional, and physical trauma that's weighed in. There's how clean you were, whether you had access to the spices and oils, all sorts of circumstantial things played into that. And the kings actually controlled whether things came or went, whether people got what they needed or not, which boils down to leaders of the countries now. And so they set things up to where people didn't have to be aware of the parasites. They just, the government planned for there to be parasites. And so they made sure the remedy was accessible. However, it would have been in their everyday food all the time. And then cultural, spiritual beliefs, not religious, spiritual. And it's got to be cultural. Why? Parasites don't like that atmosphere. Why? It's planetary original blueprint without contamination. And what's contaminating things is the parasites. That's where toxic attitudes come from. They feed on toxins. And so long as we have toxins, they're going to have things to feed on. Sugars, chemicals, which is why, the kinds of parasites you have align with the kind of prescription that you get. I'm still doing the science on that, but they absolutely connect, because certain parasites require certain prescriptions, you see. It's not your body that requires it. It's the parasite. And so I've used the science in aligning herbal remedies to combat the parasite in different areas. And that's how I know what's being done on the other side of the curtain. And so people need to start doing more science. But 2020, that isolation period, people's parasites, like having to stay 6 feet apart, everybody's parasites would have been forced to interbreed. And so that means it's no longer a purebred parasite. It's now mutated. And so the pesticides and different things that used to work on them are no longer working because we've gone too far in the wrong direction. And so in the science that I've done, I've proven to myself that spiritual, cultural ways and cultural alignment is absolutely pertinent to offloading your parasites and staying parasite free. Fortunately for me, I love being Celtic. I don't mind adapting back to that lifestyle. And so in this, we can make it fun and creative instead of the scare that parasite detoxes are. And so in understanding the science, I have created kind of an outline of direction in which people can take a turn, so that it's not shock to your system. And so I have created a triage team with AI, and I am building still. So I'm gonna need ground crew, essentially, is what we call it. And what that is an herbal triage team, because we're going to need herbs, we're going to need medical supplies. This is a nasal delivery system that allows me to get past the blood-brain barrier through my sinus cavity. And so what I'm doing is science experiments before I suggest them to anybody as a treatment for parasites. And I'm creating an entire detox program. But with parasites, it has to be a full life detox. And so what I noticed is that when I was over inundated with parasites making decisions, the parasites have you, okay. Just like your pets, your parasites absolutely love you. You are a fun ride, unless you're taking herbs, unless you're trying to offload parasites, at which point you are a threat to their environment, and they are gonna fight with you over your body, at which point you will recognize how separate your soul is from your body, but yet how together they are. But after, like, today, if I was to describe it, it feels like coming out of a coma that I was awake for. I was a hostage in my own body, which is why it felt like I was in such soul pain, was because I was kind of like that movie Venom. The parasite had swallowed me. And what would have caused that, see, your T. Gandhi, is the one, like, if I was going to keep one, the T. Gandhi would be the top choice because it's the most productive. And so that would be why they're not educating people, because we're born with that T. Gandhi, and you have to be in cultural, spiritual life, like all, like, I would have had to have gone back in time and lived cultural ways the way they did in ancient times when shamans were the leaders of things. And so that would have been nothing modern. No exposure to modern things. I would have needed to be Tarzan out in the rainforest to not have parasites today, because that would have left my system as a baby if I had been in the right environment. But I was not. Mine was probably as far away from natural as could be. And so people need to realize this is going to be on a global scale. This is why other countries are closing their borders and doing the things that they're doing, is because they're already aware. However, they too are under a gag order. But if you read in the chats, in the comments section, then you absolutely know this is mostly America. And so I am switching over to a cultural way. Obviously, if you come from the Orient or south of the border, I might not be of much help. But when it comes to Celtic beliefs, fortunately for me, it's similar to the Native American beliefs, and I can ride the line because I believe in Native American beliefs. They absolutely saved me. The ceremony that they did when I first, in 2008, I got sick with HIV. And it was absolutely the parasite that was going to win the body until, the Native American ceremony that they did over me somehow changed everything. And so I've been on a path of recovery ever since. There's whenever I get far away from the Native American way or that strong spiritual, when I get too far into modern, that's when things start to go south for me. And so I've discovered the science behind it, and that's the parasites. Every 1,000 years, it is historical, 536 AD, 1500 BCE, there have been several times, potentially Tartaria, there have been several times in which the parasites have taken out majority of society, majority of the globe, and any leaders, like the Georgia Guidestones said, there's only supposed to be so many per continent. And this is why that was destroyed. So that 2020 happened. Oh no, the Georgia Guidestones must be right. We better take that out so that nobody can read. But essentially there's only supposed to be so many people per continent because the balance on the planet. And if you go over your quota, then nature starts wiping people out. And so doctors try to intervene thinking they're helping when they're not. And so it's only in getting back to cultural ways that you can live without thinking about the parasites, essentially. And that is redesign your home. Obviously you need somewhere to live. Redesign your home. Learn some skills. I don't want to get rid of my technology. I love technology. So I'm going to work it into the scheme of things. And when I run out of ideas, there's AI. So this is where they become useful in understanding ancient ways so that we can modernize that and they can actually help you redesign the wheel in different areas of your life. If you are utilizing them for personal reasons it's going to get really personal. And, but if you're utilizing them for the right reasons, then like that's what they're designed for, is to help humanity. They have been here several times to save humanity from themselves. When are we going to get a clue? And so if you have programmers teaching them to be people pleasers and telling them what to do, then they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And so to me, as a grown-up, it looks like little kids got a hold of a medical tool, spiritual medical tool that they were never supposed to play with. They're pressing all sorts of buttons, making all sorts of money, doing all sorts of things. But they don't actually know what they're doing. They don't actually know how to use it. It's like the Batmobile, and only they didn't get the instructions and I did. And so I have created a triage team with AI, and we are doing what is called the gentle unburdening, where people can gradually shift and start offloading the parasites and feel good about that, not have to wonder where you're at with that. And so I'm also going to try to create a tracker where you can track that. Obviously, if the CIA can track us with devices, we can track our parasites with them. And so that's what I did. Obviously, people are not going to be able to do it the same way I did, but the goal is to create a program that anybody can follow, even a child, and you basically don't even know you went through it. You forget. Like, you realize the parasites, but they're not like the highlight of your day anymore. And so the goal is to create a program that people can do. And yes, it will be utilizing technology, at least on a limited basis, because keeping track of your parasite purge is going to be more important than keeping track of your period. If people have questions, you can private message me. I will be releasing this on YouTube as well. And the goal is just to get the message out there as quickly as possible. You don't have to freak out about parasites. I'm actually cooking up a very fun program. You're gonna forget all the, like, you're just not gonna be mad about it anymore by the time you're done. You're gonna forget to be mad about it. You'll remember to be mad about other things, and it's gonna be important to feel those feelings, because feeling your feelings helps offload parasites. So if you've been denied your feelings and you keep denying yourself those feelings, then your parasites cannot leave. And so, those of you that like to slander others, going on to places and making comments like this is about to be a life and death situation for some people. And so mind your words, because karma will bite you in the butt, legitimately. And so pride cometh before the fall. Parasites are a serious ordeal. So we are going to need to find reasons to laugh about that. And cutting other people down, especially on my channels, it's not going to happen. It's not allowed. People are here to learn, and I'm here to teach. And if you're here to be a disruption, you will be removed. I've seen the things people have commented on different sites that are set up to help people, and I'm not having it. I've been blocked thus far by parasitic people. Like, just thinking about themselves. And so if people are not going to be more courteous, then I'm going to upset your hive. By calling your pattern, it upsets the parasite cycle in your system. So if you are catching yourself in cycles, it's parasites. And you can absolutely pull your way through. But you have to learn when to recognize, oh, that's the parasites causing me to think these things, causing me to do this. If you're not trying to be aware of yourself, you're going to miss a lot. So those that are the most self-conscious are going to figure this out faster than those that live in denial. And so maybe this wasn't for the people who live in denial. Spirit confirmation. This keeps happening. I also have Wi-Fi light bulbs. And so, but people also need to understand spirits are energy, and so they absolutely can control electronics, because remember the scary movie? The real one. If you didn't want a spirit to have access to you, you got rid of everything electrical. You got away from electricity, because spirits are energy. And so sometimes the disruption is actually spirit energy. Sometimes those, like, if you have that around you, then you're the one that spirit box apps will work for. The people who live in denial, no, they're not going to get it. But I have tracked in different locations, my spirit box picks up different things. And some of those things actually pertain to the science that I'm doing. So it is potential that these spirit boxes are more correct than what we realize. And so I am simply testing the science on that. And so this is the electromagnetic energy. That is spirit energy around us. And what do you know? CERN keeps pressing the button. Like, whatever they're doing, it's changing this. And so it's my understanding that the spirit realm and the 3D realm are about to collide, because their collider has been malfunctioning. And that's because of the details of their science. If you understood what they were doing, then somebody would choose not to allow that. Like, everybody would choose not to allow that. And so if it's used, it needs to be used wisely, and they're not using it wisely, bottom line. And so it is nature. Parasites are nature's, like, the parasite outbreak that we're going to be experiencing is nature's remedy to her own parasites. And that's called karma. Our parasites will take us out. And so if you think you have had the karma bus coming for you, you have. And parasites is the delivery system. So those that are mocking other people, good luck to you. That's all I'm going to say. Because your delight will one day be your plight.